Hey, this is Mike again. I felt inspired to make a little audio episode in regards to talking about frameworks, and particularly that in a passage about the sleepless state from the book Creating the Soul, Body, and Sacred Science of Immortality that I posted in the group. And we're going to talk a little bit about existence. What I want to say with this is, you know, spirituality is infinity. So these are just frameworks to understand things. When you start reading a lot of different occultist texts, or just hearing from other occultists, or even from my own experiences as well, when you deal with the unknown, right? Because we know that the when you're born in this world, right, and society programs you a certain way to categorize, like you start experiencing life. And you got a certain part of your brain is going to be logical. So it's going to try to categorize things. It's going to try to differentiate things, right? That's why you look at life. People differentiate shit about race or color, creed, or different beliefs, different religions, right? So we different, all these different things, right? I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just talking about it can get kind of imbalanced because, there's states where things are not differentiated. This is called the unknown, right? But so what am I trying to say is that when I give you these frameworks, it's just frameworks to try to understand infinity, right? To help you differentiate things, right? Because the unknown, well, you can say, like if you look at the Patnetu tree, you're dealing with Kether, or you're dealing with Amen, right? You're dealing with Amen, representing that the abyss or the undifferentiated state of everything. You can't really categorize it, meaning you can't. It's just one. How do I say it? It's just one black abyss. It's one dark matter. Like I'm just using that just for sake of clarity in this particular thing. I try to make spirituality practical. So even if you're standing in a dark room, you're sitting in a black dark room, you're sitting looking at black deep space, you cannot, all that blackness, you from the naked human eye, from our faculties, you can't really differentiate what's in there. It just looks black. But it could be teeming with life. The point is, when you read text, that's why spirituality is supposed to be a lifestyle practice of cultivation as well, because you're cultivating, strengthening your faculties beyond the average human. Or this the average experience state of a human being, the natural experience state of the five senses that you see just regular people. And they are only, right, your hearing range, your sight range, all these different of your five senses have a very limited range. It's very narrow. We can't hear what great like blue whales can hear. We can't see like certain creatures that can see very far, like a falcon. All I'm telling you is that if some aspect of spirituality is about cultivating your faculties to differentiate things beyond the unknown that an average human being, or we say the average life in modern age, is going to experience. So you have to put in work. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But always do what you feel is best for your path, right? In this particular group, I never tell anybody what to do. I just share my perspectives to try to make it as practical as possible. But these are all frameworks. The Patnetu tree of life, these are all frameworks to try to understand, once again, limitless reality, or the infinity of spirituality and the source, or whatever, right? I try to keep it on a neutral level because everybody's practicing different things. But remember, so the point is, it starts from that unknown, like from Amen, which is that dark matter, and it starts differentiating things then it goes lower. The dimensions keep differentiating into like duality. We know there's multiple dimensions, but things have to keep differentiating for us to understand things. So you got duality, you got 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D. There's multiple angles to reality. This is the whole point of experience. And that's why, you have to have differentiation for you to experience life. To know a tree is different, slightly different from you. I'm just talking about it creates our experiences, just like people. Everybody is a different aspect of the source. You're just a different aspect of it, in a sense, right? That's why we experience life. So we have coming from different angles. We all got our own perspective of reality. That's the whole point. If there's no differentiation, you can't really have a true experience. Like I'm talking about, you're not gonna really experience the way what we have today. I think is a blessing to some aspect of the experiences that we have. But back to what I'm trying to say is it's just frameworks. So don't take them like, oh, I'm not an absolutionist. Like I don't approach things, oh, this is the absolute truth, or my truth is the absolute. I don't do that. I just share my perspective. I hope you don't do that either. As you get deeper, you realize spirituality is very deep. But what I wanted to say as well is that back again, when it's coming talking about that sleepless state of, it's really talking about your conscious awareness. When you get a certain, your faculties are working beyond the average states, or you're building enough energy. It's why it's called the soul body, or just different energies. You're going to, it's your brain can't really differentiate what you call in different altered consciousness states. They're all going to feel real. You get what I'm trying to say? Let me give you an example. Some people have night terrors. Some people sleep paralysis. They're scared. Some people are very fearful of just going to sleep because they have these extreme nightmares. They feel pain. They feel all kinds of things in these dream states. But we know on a certain level, we're going to say, people are going to tell you, average person will tell you it's not real. But it doesn't matter what you tell these people. They feel true fear. Their awareness feels true fear. They feel pain. They may feel smell. They may be able to smell in those dreams. They may touch. They're seeing things that are frightening, and their awareness sees it as fear. Their body's going to react in fear. Their adrenaline goes up, all kinds of different things. When you monitor them, like, sleep studies and different things, these people are tearing up stuff, wandering around, in the rooms out of fear. So who am I to tell somebody when it comes to existence, oh, the physical or your dream state as well, they're two different things, are not real. But guess what? His brain, their awareness of that person's brain who's experiencing that, they're not going to know the difference. They're still going to react out of fear. So that's the thing. That's why I say, to me, I'm more so about practicality. I can't really, I don't really spend time debating about existence, because physical dream state, astral projection, night terrors, sleep paralysis, all these to me are just different phases of consciousness that you're experiencing. And they're going to feel real to everybody. Some, physical feels real. So for other people, spirituality feels real. So why would I debate, or even just dreams feel real for certain people, right? It's all, to me, it's just the development of your faculties and the development of the energies in your body. You have to put in work if you want to experience different states of being. You can use herbs, you can use different things as well, psychedelics or whatever, if you want to do that. I'm just talking about from a perspective of a perspective where we're just cultivating without using those things, because you can cultivate the body without using it. As always, do what you feel is best on your path. I remember me growing up as a child. I remember my dreams were so strong. I remember I had several dreams, or whatever you want to call these different states of consciousness, that I would be visiting, like, let's say a bathroom in these particular dreams, right? Just using the restroom in those. It felt so real. It felt like I was using the restroom in that different state of consciousness. And then I would wake up in the body and really, I had pissed on myself in the bed. I'm talking about growing as a child. So, I was just get a little bit of spankings because of that. But it's just interesting how, as you're an innocent child. You're not really taught. We're not really understanding these different states. Me, per se, like, I wouldn't punish my child. I'm not saying I'm gonna let them continue to pee in the bed, but I'll be more understanding that their mind cannot really tell these different states of being, especially if a child's having dreams of using the restroom, and they, it happens to cause them to use the restroom physically in real life. That's very powerful. So your brain, it's just, let's say, your awareness, your consciousness sometimes can't really tell the difference. It just all, from my understanding, if you look at it, since kids can do that, it's all about energy in the vessel. It's all about recultivating the energies back into your body to a degree. I'm just trying to make it sound, be as practical, because that's what I'm about. That's why I don't separate the two of physical and spiritual, because if you separate them, for me, it no longer becomes practical. What's the point of spirituality if it has no connection to the physical reality? Like us, so all this stuff is really debatable. But take your time and continue to study. I like neuroscience and quantum physics. I'm not, like I said, I'm not an absolutionist, but I do know that mathematically, what's his name, Dr. Michio Kaku, already mapped out, talking about mathematically, 10, 11 dimensions. And you're talking about the tree of life, all these different things I give people, Pat Neteru, you got to understand, these are like oral public maps, but oral traditions probably have mapped out way more dimensions than this. Because you got to understand, like, you before, like, ancient times, so I'm starting to realize this. Before you could even come into a temple of initiation or whatever, you had to prove that you went to a certain plane of existence or a certain altered conscious state, and you saw the same symbology, or you saw the same things. You saw this, let's say, a temple in those particular dream states, and you saw the exact same things that your mentor or priest would see before they would take you on. If you could not prove that you went beyond, let's say, an astral plane and went to an etheric plane or a mental plane to see the same thing, they wouldn't even take you on. You know what I'm saying? That's how the priesthood, I believe, I'm starting to understand that this is why they work together to map out these other planes of dimensions, because they're moving to a state of consciousness that's beyond, it starts moving past the illusion. There's a lot of illusion sometimes in the astral plane, and they start moving up to these other worlds. Now they start mapping out these dimensions. They start mapping them out. This is hundreds of thousands of years of knowledge. You get what I'm trying to say? And that's how you was able to probably join a priesthood. You had to prove yourself that you was able to see what they wanted you to see in those particular realms. So now you can be of use to that temple. Now you can help map out these infinity of dimensions. Right. And now you start dealing with elementals and whatever else is up there and different things of that nature. It's not just centered around humans. Right. Because now spirituality is becoming anthropocentric. But I hope that makes sense. I'm not trying to be on a tangent, but I'm just letting you know these are just frameworks. You can't really debate these different altered states of consciousness. It's going to be real for some people. I don't really spend too much time on that. But that's, once again, back to that sleepless state is all about a conscious stream. If you can be the same high level of consciousness you have in the physical, you should be able to have that same high level of consciousness in so-called dreams. You go from lucid dreaming, now you go into astral or whatever else. You should be able. It should be a continuous stream. That's why they call them the sleepless ones or sleepless states. Not other than do with you not sleeping. You're just talking about your awareness level of your five senses should be just as strong in all these ones. And then if you can get to a certain point where you bring it middle, where you have access while you're awake. We're talking about the physical. You have access to both of those realms even while you're awake. That's a whole different ball game, and that's really the goal that I think, well, at least for me, that we work on, that I work on and whatnot. But of course, to each their own. Whatever you feel is good for your path, you do what you feel is good for you. We don't force nothing. We just share perspectives. But I hope that makes sense. That's why I share different books, just to, public books, meaning, just on Amazon, different places that you have access to, expand your awareness. That's all I'm doing when I do these particular things. I do this out of love and, what I'm saying, kind of like charity, just to interact with the community. But I hope this is starting to make sense. These are all faculties. You gotta develop the faculties to start differentiating the unknown, the dark matter, the abyss, or even sitting in a dark room. You have to have the faculties to see through that darkness, to see that there's light in that darkness. Even in a dark room, there is light there, but you got to develop the faculties of light within yourself. But hopefully that'll be another podcast. We may continue to talk about that. What I'm saying? Just depends. This is really for new people. I'm also trying to help new people. Just share my perspective. Because a lot of some people come to me and say, I appreciate, Michael, the frameworks you give me. I appreciate what you're trying to do, because now it's starting to make sense. I'm really trying to holistically help people tackle these things. Since we're talking about infinity, I'm about to tackle it from many angles, combining the physical, mental, and spiritual. You know what I'm saying? So do continue to read books. Do continue to do all these things, because they help prep you in case you really want to start working with real elders. You're going to have some kind of wisdom underneath your belt. Physical, mental, spiritual is what I try to continue to cultivate. That's just on my path. Anyways, I don't want to go too long. It's already getting too long. I hope that makes sense. These are just frameworks. I don't really try to debate. These are all faculties that got to be cultivated beyond. Remember the average experience. Remember our range is narrow. Animals, blue whales, different things can hear things that we can't hear. Falcons can see things we can't really see beyond that. So these are faculties. We have to work hard, you know what I'm saying? Or just work in a certain way to give you access beyond what is the average of modern day's age of the humans' experiences. Anyways, take care, much love. I hope this makes sense. I'll try to do another one. Peace.